do it on their dime and not on ours. So that's why parts of, and you see all that road work done, that's PSE&G work. Most of you remember that a couple years ago, I think it was Christie, put on the gas tax that we had, which are
Yeah.
Christie, right?
Yeah, Steve, and it was also raised by Governor Murphy as well.
Yeah, so the gas tax was designed because of the idea that a lot of work needs to be done on roads, and towns just simply didn't have the money to be able to fund all of that stuff. So towns can apply for grants, and if it's awarded to you, they have to be used for the roads that you ask for. Unfortunately, it's a kind of a 2-year lag. So if we're told in 2019 that the money that we applied for, which we just got approved for REVA, that was applied for in 2019, just got the notice within the last 2 days that the money's gonna be coming in 2020. But I just told you, we order the roads and do our contracting the fall before. So that road won't get done until 21. Old Stage Road was approved, we were applied for it, and we're told that we were getting the money in 2018. Money came in 2019. We've now contracted contractors to do it for 2020. That will be a spring project from Main Street all the way up to New Brunswick. Other than the stuff that PSE&G is gonna do, because I would rather them pay for it than us. Same thing with REVA, that will be 21. Ruse was done with TTF money last year, right? The area from where the firehouse is all the way down to Wyndham, that was TTF money. So and we're more than happy to get it. Each time it was around $550,000. So at $400,000 a mile, you're only getting about a mile of work with every time you get one of those grants. On Ruse, for instance, it wasn't just the repaving. They did sidewalk work, they did apron work, they did driveway work. It was some of redoing of some of the drainage. So it was an expensive project, but I'm happy we didn't have to pay for it.
Right, and also we're going to capital assessment, that's where the hard stuff is in there.
Yeah, that's all part of that money, but we didn't have to, I mean, you're paying for it, your state taxes, but the property taxes didn't have to go to that. So we're applying as often as we can for these grants so that we don't have to be taking them out of property taxes. Right now, we have a freight grant that the state offers for areas where there's lots of freight traffic. So we've applied for all of Edgeboro Road to be repaired. That's our road. That would be a freaking expensive road to do because it's very wide and it's very long. We don't wanna have to do that. We can get the freight grant, then that'll pay for that road. And again, I can save the money for other roads that are in desperate need of repair. So we try to do what we can with other people's money first, and then save what we can for our own roads.
So how many miles of road do we have that needs to be repaired?
You know, it's almost an unending number because the roads themselves are today not built to last as long as they were years ago. Part of it is the material that's being used is cheaper, doesn't last as long, and we have more traffic. So it's a question I can't even answer because the likelihood is that by the time we're finished doing some roads, we're probably already in need of repairing roads that were done.
So when we repair a road, does it last 20 years?
I don't think we're getting 20 years out of it.
20 years.
I think we'll be lucky if we're getting about 15.
Okay, but at the rate we're talking about repairing them, we
Right.
will never catch up.
Never.
What do you mean,
We're never, if we have
But I don't,
20 years of repairs,
Right.
Hundreds of
okay,
miles.
and the road lasts only 15 years.
you're right,
Okay, it doesn't work out.
you're right, right, and that means that some roads may not get done for a long time because we simply don't have the funds for that. Or, we simply have to live with some roads that are just never gonna get repaired. But it is an endless, but we're not the only town, you know, clearly with that problem. Most towns, we just happen to have a large number and miles of roads that are township responsibility.
So if we have so many roads, then would it be more economical, like you mentioned, for the other utilities and such, to have us manage it as opposed to
I just don't think we have the capacity to do that type of road repair. We really don't.
Okay, but if we're spending $500,000 a mile, give or take, okay, could we do it for $300,000 and we could hire our own people to do it?
You mean like develop our own utility for road repair?
Yes.
I think that's, Joe?
Mayor, the milling equipment is very, very expensive and there's high maintenance on the miller. That's the machine that grinds the road up before the paving. So there's the expense of that. You need to keep that machine very, very busy in order to pay for that machine.
Sounds like we have enough work.
But we don't have enough capital to do it. Then the paving equipment itself, the box, the hot box, that has to get repaired basically every 4 to 6 months. And the tune-up on that is about $100,000 just for a tune-up.
Okay.
So Middlesex County has crews that do this. You might have saw them when they were doing Cranberry Road. They're big enough. They're taking all of Middlesex County and they're 16% of your tax. So they're able to buy the capital. They have people that maintain that equipment because they're doing a lot of roads. We got 222 miles worth of roadway to do, both sides. So, you know, it's a lot of roadway, I agree with you, but the cost of capital, the cost of healthcare, the cost of pensions, the cost of everything, if you cost it out, it just doesn't make sense.
So that's fine, so on
Yeah.
a business point, you're saying that, and I'm not disagreeing with your numbers, we could do it for the water utility, but you don't feel that we could do it.
That's
on
correct,
the
sir.
road.
That's correct. And even when we fix a water line, a lot of times we'll outsource to that vendor to do the paving because we just don't have the equipment.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe we're changing the material.
No.
Going from asphalt to concrete, because concrete can last a lot longer than asphalt, and it's easier to repair. More expensive than the initial cost, but it is a longer, and it pays for itself, kind of like solar power.
Concrete also cracks.
Concrete also is easier than asphalt, because asphalt will, have all the material, and you'll have to repaint it again.
Well, concrete has different heating factors. Over on this side of the CAC here, there's some of the road that is concrete and it heaves differently. So it's about 4 times more expensive, and the way you have to form it, and it has to pour, and it takes days for it to cure. So you only would use it on bridges because the expense is so high, and you basically would have to shut that road down for weeks in order to do a concrete thing. Because by the time you rip it up, put the stone down, compaction, put the grading in, do the pour, it's about 4 times more expensive.
The side over here used to be concrete, and then we changed it to asphalt.
The side over here I'm talking about is still asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah.
About
4 times more expensive.
You have to bring in big booms and break that up, it goes down for the feet.
Right.
It's right over here, it's concrete, we've actually avoided doing any repairs because the repairs are crazy expensive.
Yes.
And not likely to last. And if we put asphalt over it, which a lot of times we do, you put asphalt over, concrete, it's gonna break down faster because there's water that can get in between,
The
and it
impervious.
causes it to break down from the water freeze type of, cycles of winters here.
Wear care. You thought it was a big deal?
So is there, any other questions on the other topics or things?
The town borrowed 23 million for the redevelopment.
No, we didn't.
No.
No, we didn't.
Honey, you asked me this at the
Council
council
meeting.
meeting and I answered it then.
I forgot.
The redevelopment did not borrow 23 million. 23 million is made up of many, many things, but the largest percentage of that money was money that the school board borrowed because they borrow at the town's high credit rating because we could borrow much cheaper than they can. So if you look at our town's debt structure, 2/3 of it is actually school debt and they pay it back. But they're doing it because it's saving taxpayers a lot of money, borrowing it on our dime than borrowing it when they went out to the bank. We have a, what is it, a double
AA plus,
plus
MIG,
rating.
it's called
the,
MIG one.
One of the highest tax rates that any town could be given by any rating agency. So they would not give us that rating if our debt ratio was too high.
I understand, but there's interest still on it.
Of course. It's gonna be less on what, well, first of all, the school pays whatever they borrow, they pay the interest on it. But the
Okay.
interest on it, which is about 1%, you can't borrow that low,
How do you want that?
because we have a good tax rating,
Oh my goodness.
bond rating. I mean.
That's
And that's the reason why the school uses us to borrow for them than going out to the bank.
It's actually less than that, because we get a premium on the loans,
So you pay less than
so you pay less than
They pay less than 1%.
less than 1%.
It's less than.
It's less than 1%, because we get premium.
That is, I say that's a very popular.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you
that's the
taping this
biggest,
for a specific
chunk,
group of people
anytime
that
the
maybe we
fire
can help you
districts
with?
want to.
Oh yeah, I thought I'd film it
we
for everybody. So
bond
there's
for them,
no one ever films these
and
things,
they
and it's
pay
like
us back
council
We
from
do.
your tax
We
It's like public meeting.
fire district.
No
So
problem, I
that's
was just
also
saying if you had
included
any
in that
questions.
two-thirds. So
you know.
whatever number.
Yeah, I'm
we
just
need
taking
on
notes.
the audited statements, for our debt ratio, 2/3 of it is not the town's debt. Yeah.
Hi, Mark was elected in Village. A couple of months we came to our board meeting.
Yeah.
And in the course of the meeting, we made a gift offer to give us 41 parking spaces, if you recall, in the right way areas.
Right.
We were now told that people called you and said they don't want that to happen. I'm one of them. And now the board is going out to the petition to convince you that they want it. That's true. You said 50% of us voted for it.
I don't think I said anything about it.
That's
I
why I'm
just
asking you. That's
responded to the residents called me over because they were having a problem with, people utilizing spaces that they felt should be for them. And we said that we didn't have a problem letting the homeowners association take over those spots as long as they maintain the snow removal and all the things that the town right now is paying to do. We had no problem with that. Heard nothing about it since then.
Let me just continue. The issue for that is, I found out, is someone there had 3 parking tickets in the snow, because when you have to plow, you can't park on Village Drive and you can't park on the 14 spots. So my query to you would be this: if we would have talked to our community and Society Hill and say, plow your own car now. Like, the township is no longer gonna bring the plows and plow those areas. We don't need you to give us the land, we don't want it, just, we'll take care of the plan. Would there be any more things you could do that?
I don't understand the question. If it's township property, then
Then we have to
our
go.
obligation to maintain it, whether it's the snow, the ticketing.
That, I understand that, what I'm saying is we can agree with the township that the community.
You'd have to take the property.
I can't hear you.
You would have to take the property.
You have to pay. In
Yes.
other words, you can't make an agreement.
Can I elaborate on this thing, because the history of this, what happened was, there wasn't any rights and votes a long time. And what happened was, when they built the tower center, there was an issue with the fire trucks. And people could no longer park in front of their homes, so they disallowed parking in front of Lexington Village, private homes. So what they do is they, worked in the deal with this, where they created these parking spaces on a village drive. And they dug them out. But we did notice that that area that they dug out, those spaces that they took away from us in front of our homes, was going to be, township property, not Lexington Village property. So what's happened is, we have a lot of out-of-towners, people who run businesses and park in their facilities. They
Right.
are trailers, they're catering trucks.
Right.
They're landscape, so it's become a storage facility. So what's happened, they're taking away the parking spaces that we had in front of our house, and now they're taking away in Village Drive. So because of that, then when it snows, there's no place to go, because they're all taken over by only storage facilities.
It's a public street, they can park there.
Well, yeah, but in fact, the sad part is that we didn't know when we gave up our parking. Is there any kind of accommodation, I know the township has done it, is there any way they can create residential parking only, not commercial vehicles? Can they do that?
What commercial vehicles are there?
Well, you got catering trucks, there are people coming from out of town, they find it very convenient to park within the community, because they feel it's safer rather than parking on the township streets.
Change plumbing trucks, armored trucks.
Yeah, so we have all these trailers that are winding up over there, we have streets, rows of trailers, and
I think
trucks,
that
and
the best thing
landscaping
to do
trucks.
would be to have another meeting with the
I'm sorry?
condo association. I mean, it would best be the better option would be for us to meet with the condo association again and discuss those issues, because what I'm getting is that there's two factions in your community. One that wants one thing and one that wants another thing, and we can help you, but I can't help two people who are diabolically opposed to one another.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
Keith's
it's
been
an
talking,
issue.
Igor?
I'm sorry?
Keith's been talking with, I think, I believe it's the gentleman's name's Igor?
Igor.
Igor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is that Mark and I've been president there for 10 years, we really know the history of the whole place. The people that are there, I don't know what the motivation is, they don't understand the whole concept of what's happening. We're probably the most knowledgeable people in the community, we know the whole history, we were involved with that negotiation. The thing that we never knew is that it was gonna be Tasha Street rather than giving us the parking. So what's happening, we've lost the parking in front of our homes, and we've also lost the parking on Village Drive.
The other
So
part,
that's what.
the other part of the snow issue, when the trucks come in, they put the snow on the entranceway, and you're creating a danger, because you cannot see right away. And I asked this, you with the meeting, could you please tell the trucks to put the snow on the other side, away from the opening, so we can see where we're going. Also, your idea of meeting with our board would be wonderful, except they won't let us in the room.
Yeah,
And-
I don't know how I'm gonna resolve the issue that you have a dysfunctional unit there, where you have people representing you who aren't representing the same things that many people there, want.
Now,
So you need
Is
to
there a
change your
government
board.
agency that does any of this stuff, that oversees community associations?
Yeah, Department of Community Development, Local Governance Services, it's called the DCA. The Department of Community Affairs, you go on a website, they
State or
govern,
local?
state, they govern rules for condos, townhouses, any shared
Is
associations.
that the Radburn Act people?
Excuse me?
Is that the Radburn Act people?
No.
Different people?
Yeah.
Department of Community Affairs?
Right.
Can we get them to come in? Because we literally have a board that won't listen to anybody.
Yeah, it's the DCA. and that-
Well,
that's the-
if they're elected by you, they're gonna say, you elected them.
Yeah, you know, that's another issue, that's a problem.
Well, they
It's a
want
whole
to
other
No, so DCA is gonna tell you,
No, I
they're an
understand.
elected board,
Yeah,
so they're elected.
right,
there are elections, and then there are elections. I'll leave it at that.
yeah. But it's a matter of, I know there are certain areas in the town where they do regulate parking, where they say, you know, local residents only. Is that something that we can get on Village Drive?
I know we do that in areas where, like, for
Like
instance,
Barstow?
people who are parking their cars and walking over to the buses, we put resident-only
They
parking,
did that,
right, in all those areas.
Yeah.
We also do it sometimes in areas near schools where people just congregate around, waiting for the kids to be picked up from school.
It's sort of the same problem, I work with traffic safety, there's some years on that, they go to the school bus parking, and water shows parking there, it's a problem. So they do, I don't put a top.
Well, the school bus issue should have been resolved by zoning. That was work, you know, Christie worked with, the traffic sergeant, and the commercial people were investigated and sent letters. But a lot of those people live in your development. You might not think so, but they do.
Let me put it this way, I was curious, and I followed a couple of them, I saw them park their vehicles, and they saw I was watching them, and the guy actually went into Society Hill, parked his car there, and I pulled into Society, he knew, he didn't live there. Obviously, he didn't live there, they're coming from out of town. They park their vehicles there during the day, and they park their business vehicles there overnight. And that's the issue that we
Well,
have.
I'll have the chief look into the
Yeah,
commercial
that's
parking on
definitely,
that
we can
road.
watch
If
it.
you were, I don't think you find one, but if you
Yeah,
were
I don't
in a
know.
meeting, could you make sure that they ask them to invite others in other than the five of them? They won't let us in the room.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get in the middle of your dispute.
I'm not gonna intercede in the middle of your, you gotta elect your people. I wanna thank everybody for coming tonight, if you have questions, feel free to speak separately. I do have other town halls that are coming up, you're welcome to come to any of those, please ask other people.
You have to abide by, if you're gonna do
Hear
that, you have
them,
to abide by the
read what
bylaws.
they say on Facebook, you know what?
Yeah.
It's so much
Mark,
easier
no,
to answer
yeah.
questions
You have to abide
face
by
to
that.
face than to try to answer a snide comment I'd rather, have the dialogue, that's what our community is really about.
You should have had a bottle of water.
Does your bond as a lot? So.
Thank you. Good.